Have you ever been to a yin yoga class and you're going to practice dragon pose and the teacher says there's a block or there's two blocks there for you to use if you need them, but you really have no idea how to use the blocks? In this video, I'm going to show you a couple of different ways that you can play with dragon and a variation of dragon using blocks to either help pull the intensity back a little bit or maybe even take the intensity up. So our dragon shape in yin yoga is a lunge position. So if I come around into that lunge position, ordinarily, we may not use the blocks. We would come up into that lunge position and perhaps just have the hands on the floor on either side of that front leg. Maybe you're on fingertips, maybe hands are all the way on the floor, but this can be quite intense. Some people like to come all the way down in between this. I've got my left leg out in front with the hands, and that often gives that left thigh bone and hip a bit of space. And I'm targeting here the right hip flexor predominantly, but you might also feel that moving all the way down into that right quad. So the first option that I would give you is to take not one, but two blocks and have them underneath either hand. And you might have the hands still on the inside of that left foot. And that's just taken a lot of that. Well, not a lot of it. It's taken a little bit of the sensation out, but it's also just feels a little nicer to be more upright. Another option that you could use the blocks for is to take just one of your blocks and come down onto your forearms. This will raise the ground up slightly higher by using the block without having to come all the way down to the floor. And if this just really feels very, very strong for you, another option might be that you have the blocks on the high end on either side of that front leg and have a little bit more weight being supported by each arm. And again, if this is too much, something that is very helpful is to take one of those blocks and have it right underneath the sitting bone of that front leg. So you're sitting into something. And then I'm going to slide my left forearm onto the thigh and use that second block there as something to rest into. So I've got the left foot, the left sitting bone, and the right hand as the places where there is weight bearing. This is quite nice. I'd say of everything I've just done so far, this feels like the softest in terms of intensity. And then I've one more option for you, and this is an alternative shape. This is our upside down dragon. So for upside down dragon, just one, maybe two blocks. We'll start with one. We come down onto the floor and we come down onto our backs. So perhaps you find the upright version just too strong. And a lot of people do. It's often too strong on the wrists. For our upside down dragon, we actually come down onto the back. And then if you wanted to start with one, you could just lift up the hips and slide the block underneath the back of your sacrum. And let's say that you were doing this shape as an alternative to the shape I just did. We'd still be targeting the right hip flexor. So we're going to extend that leg out and slowly bring the left knee in toward the chest. Now, you don't have to use a block underneath the sacrum. You could use a bolster. In fact, people often like a bolster as a prop instead of a block because you've just got a bigger prop to work with. It's softer. And I'm actually letting my left knee come a little bit out to the side because that's where it feels good for me. And I'm getting quite a lot of sensation coming up in this hip flexor. So all of these different options explore the same target area, but the blocks may just be a way for you to experiment with what works best for you. And you're probably going to want some kind of a rebound or a bit of gentle flexion of that hip once you're finished. So those are some ways that you can use the blocks in your dragon pose in yin yoga.